take some value from it. We are going to shift, though. We're going to shift gears to another commenter who started posting questions about family, about what you guys think about what having children would be in this relationship is.
They want to see some buns in the oven.
Yeah. But I think that's an interesting subject because, one, it's when I think poly, I don't think of a family, right? I think of a relationship, right? I think this label, it's just a relationship with multiple people, but I never really thought of, can this be a successful family in today's world? And like, will people look at you with like two heads? You know what I mean? So have you guys thought about it? Are kids in the equation? How does that work? Is there a surrogate mother? Are they both pregnant at the same time? I mean, there's just so much.
That's actually exactly right. I mean, we've definitely thought about it a lot. We still have details and things that we need to figure out. And obviously, you know, we refuse to have kids. Like, they're not gonna be baby mamas. Like, if you have a kid out of wedlock, oops. You know, we want to break that chain. You know, but we thought about it a lot. I personally, and I think they might agree, that they want to be pregnant at the same time. Logically, it will probably make more sense to have one be pregnant at a time and rotate. But it's weird that people don't think about that aspect of poly because that's one of the reasons it's so powerful. It's like they say it takes a village to raise a child. It's like, how much more love is your child getting? You know, like look at all of us that are able to have a successful poly relationship because all of our parents are still together. We all came from very loving, supportive households. It's like, imagine a kid. Like, he's gonna be a supercharged.
Yeah, you get 6 grandparents. You get 2 moms. You get a dad. Like, you're just so
many
loved.
presents.
Yeah.
That's a dope.
You can't get any more. It's like, oh, maybe this grandma doesn't like me, but I got 2 others. It's fine.
That brings up an interesting concept of what a family reunion would look like.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if all your family agrees with the relationship going on here. I can even see the older generation saying, like, what is...
Mine and Steven's family is very open to it. Pre's we haven't really explored yet just because they don't know. So, I mean, that's waters to be tested. They'll figure it out if we're invited to Christmas or not.
I personally, the idea of it is great, but I haven't lived it yet. Like, this is it's going to be another, like, phase of, like, what is going to be okay and what's not going to be. You know, like, people say, like, oh, yeah, I want to have 5 kids. And then they have 1 kid, and they're like, that's it. I'm done. You know, like, or they have 2, you know, Steven says he wants to have a village. But it's like, me and Danny always say, once you have 1 or 2, that's it. You're going to be done.
I mean, that's one reason. That's not what got us into poly. But, like, one huge benefit of poly is I want a lot of kids. Like, I need at least a full soccer team worth of kids. And one of the main reasons is because I have a lot of great baby names, and they have to go to use. If we have a bunch of girls, I'm fucked. And they're just have to have the weird names. But for poly, it just makes so much more sense. And I think that's another thing, too, not to go off on topic, but I think that's another reason why you typically see poly with 1 man and multiple females because of the children aspect. Once you get past the, threesomes and sex, and think about real life and planning a family and building a kingdom, it's like, it does make more sense for 1 man and multiple women. Because if you have 1 woman, multiple men, not only, like, how many kids could she pump out? It's like, neither man can really have as many kids as he probably wants.
I also think that this isn't, like, if we're just in our relationship, yeah, we want kids and stuff like that. I don't know how it would actually be, you know?
Like, do they call both of you moms? Or
honestly, Pri always says that, and that's the one thing I actually don't agree, and, like, I get nervous about when she says that, and I kind of talk to both of them, is I do know, like, I don't know how I feel in this relationship, because you never know if you're going to be jealous, but, with my poly is I wouldn't want to be with someone, and I told other people, if we didn't know how we felt about it. And like Priya always says, she's kind of nervous about it. But for me, I've always wanted to adopt kids. So if it wasn't my biological kid, I know I would love it as much. And I know that it'd have the dynamic. And if I have my kids, I want them to call Pri-mom too. I don't want this awkward stepmom thing or where is it going to be. I want it to be like, no, your kids are going to feel as much love for me as my kids are you. They're going to basically not know the difference. You know, they'll know, yes, I birthed you, but I don't want there to be a difference. I want it to be where you're equal moms. And to me, it's like, I know I'll feel that love. And I actually, even if I wasn't with them, I think poly's a great relationship. I think I might do it again for the kid aspect. It's like, I worked at a daycare, I did this, and it's like, you can never have too many moms. Like, we were joking with the podcaster, and she's like, wow, I need another mother. Like,
yeah.
You know, you could never. So that's the one thing I do love about this. It's like, fuck yes, I want another mom around, but I wouldn't be able to do it unless I don't want that separate household feel ever. So it's like, some people literally have separate household in poly, even if we already know we're all going to be in the same house, I don't want there to be a distinction between like my kids and your kids. I want there to be our kids, you know, and I want to
You guys
know.
are just brothers, sisters.
Yeah,
with-
and I want there to know that they're not going to feel awkward, like, oh, well, Priya's not really my mom because no, you know, Priya's as much your mom as I am yours, and I don't want there to ever be awkwardness. And if that was the case, I think that would be the one thing that would like end this for me is like we would have to agree that our kids are our kids. There's not, oh, don't discipline my kid because it's not. No, it's the same way this is our relationship. It's our children, and I'm firm on that. Like if we couldn't come to agree with that, that would be like iffy, you know.
I mean, there's more than one thing that can end our relationship for sure. If they both turn around and said neither of us want kids, oh, well, I can't stay here. Then I want tons of kids. But I think what she's just saying is like, I don't think Priest's nervous like I don't want my kid to call her mommy, but it is something that is like there's not an answer for that because
There's no comparison.
Wait, hold on, let me finish my point. It's not about not knowing until you feel. That's not what I was saying at all. I'm just saying is there's literally no answer by that. At least from monogamy, there's some type of rule book that like goes unspoken, I guess. But with polygamy or polyamory, what do you call them? But I see it being a beautiful thing because even like my brother and my sister, they both have daughters and they're both 3 weeks apart. They're cousins, but they're essentially raised as sisters. And then it's like they don't call my other sister Rose anything. They call her Ducky. So it's like there could just be a name, It's like for whatever. It doesn't need to be like mama, stepmommy. They could just whatever the name they come up with,
Yeah.
Especially Spanish people, they make up weird names for your aunt and uncle all the time,
Yeah, I agree. It's just going for me, even like exploring poly, like it takes a lot of like exploring my emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do I agree with everything they said? Absolutely. But it's just unknown. It's unknown territory for me.
Yeah.
I'm open to it. I'm open to everything now. It's just making sure that we're all going to be happy, with it.
I think what you guys do for your children is naturally putting them in a place to be open in their lives because they're going to be exposed to the systematic display of how relationships really are, right? And then they're going to come home every day to what you guys have. And like, obviously there's the, you got the years 1 through like 8 or so when they're just growing and they just kind of accept what is. And then you're going to have the challenging years where they're going to have more questions about like, okay, wait, so there's 2 moms, like which one did I come from? And like, there's going to be questions like that are going to lead to these conversations about how your relationship really is. And I feel just having that is going to make them question what society naturally brings to them. The challenges.
They're going to have their norm, and then they're going to see what the rest of the world thinks.
Right.
They're going to grow the same way that we mentioned in other conversations that you didn't know there was like religion, and you found out when you were older. So it's just like they're not going to notice probably until they're like making friends outside, like school and stuff.
I mean, a key thing with that is it's like I think it's not that it's so weird or it's going to be like, oh, so hard, like, oh, which one am I going to call mom? It's like, think about it. Like, obviously, a kid coming up in an unbroken home, whatever you call that, a happy, healthy relationship, a man and a woman, ideal compared to a single mother by far, or a single father by far. But then it's like, I'm sure the kid would definitely have a better shot at life with a set of gay parents over a single mother. So it's like I only see like a kid in a poly relationship being like supercharged. Like they're gonna have even more advantages. And I don't think it's any more weird than or any bit harder to explain than a kid having 2 dads or 2 moms or 1 mom and no dad. It's like it's not a weird thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's more love. Like it is harder for me. I think it would be a little weirder if it's like, oh, why don't I have a mom or why don't I have a dad? Because they're not feeling this lack of absence. Like they're feeling like, oh, I have 2 moms, like I have more in my life.
Right.
So I think if anything, like it's not as hard because it's not like this sad thing that they're coming to realize where, if maybe your other isn't in the picture, it's like, oh, they're coming to realize this happy thing. It's just a little weird for them,
Yeah. More birthdays to celebrate too.
Yeah, the logistics of it all are obviously all gonna, we haven't had kids yet. That's like us trying to give you children raising advice. Although, I mean, there's some things that it's like I don't need to have. Like people say, like, oh, you'll understand when you have a kid. It's supposed to be this way. It's like, no, I don't have a kid, but I would bet 10 to 1 you're absolutely wrong in X, Y, or Z. So I think there is things that we can, think about and probably get right, but there's going to be tons of unknowns. Like Danny always says, oh, you want 8 kids. As soon as you have one, you might think that's enough. You know, like, who knows? Possibly, but I don't think so. But one thing I know for sure is that there's no way at all that a kid is lacking from being in a poly relationship. They're only getting more. More of everything. Love, resources,
it's in
ideas.
general. It's like, oh, you're not lacking from being in a bad relationship. Like, poly relationship, if it's a good one, if it's a healthy one, then, you know, it's just like any normal relationship. If you're in a bad relationship, like Pri was saying, like, no, leave if it's toxic, if it's a toxic poly relationship. But if it's a healthy poly relationship, it's just as much as a normal monogamous relationship, not more.
Yeah. That's the point, though, because if we did have kids and they turned out terrible, I mean, they might with the names I'm going to give them, but...
Is it going to be Wolfgang?
Wolf. Just Wolf, not Wolfgang. Dude, was that a random guess, or did you know?
That was a random
My
guess.
first boy is Wolf. My first boy
it's
from
Pri
is...
CVB,
No. My first boy from Pri is Wolf, and my first boy from Danny is Kingsley, though.
It's CVB. We already talked about this.
No,
Actually,
it's a sick joke.
CVBIE, and then B in the middle name. He thinks I'm kidding,
No,
but that's what it's going to be.
if we name him that, it's going to be Bumblebee. But anyways,
We have to
it's
discuss.
Kingsley. No, we don't. That's another deal breaker. The same way if
We
Danny
have
says
to
that we
discuss.
can't all be mommy, the relationship's over. If I can't name all the kids, we're over, and I'm not
He
playing.
already knows this
I'm
is
not
happening.
playing. But now you're going to lose my train of thought. What was I saying?
I have no idea.
Wow, thanks. You weren't really listening then.
I was listening. There was just a lot of information. I got stuck on
He got stuck
CVB
on
and Wolf.
CVB.
Those are badass, right?
Those are
and
bad.
And then I'm going to have one girl. I'm gonna have one girl, and her name is going to be Liz.
You are.
But wait, sorry. What's it short for, though?
Lisbeth.
Lizard.
Badass, right?
Neither
Badass.
me or Pri are carrying
She's gonna have a
lizard,
tattoo
so
at like 8 years old, being a biker gang. Definitely lesbian.
That's because you haven't heard of Rebel, Riot, and
Twins.
Ransom, maybe? I don't know.
No, there was never ransom. That's kind of cool, though. I find
No,
that.
there's a
now
person
you gave out all your
that-
names.
whose name is
Please
Ransom.
don't steal these names. Please don't.
You know
And if
someone
you
named
do, you're
Ransom?
copying me.
Yeah, Ransom was a real name.
That's badass, dude. I'm happy you said that. But imagine having twins, Rebel and Riot. Fucking badass. You gotta name your kid for what you want them to be. Like,
What if they were Rebel and Riot and they came out like me?
That would be like the joke.
And I don't have kids.
That would be irony. My name is Rebel.
There's certain kids that like, and I hope Danny knows I'm not kidding. Like, and it's no malice or whatever, but there's like,
Your name's Steven.
yeah, that sucks. I'm an anomaly. That's why I'm badass, but I'm quirky. But Steven actually means king in some language or whatever. But anyway,
His mom told him that.
no, my principal told me it at school, and she hated me, so she wouldn't have lied about that. But no, I'm not, okay. I won't even say the kid thing. But we still lost our first topic that we were on. Whatever. The kids are gonna have a great life. Oh, what I was gonna say is like, so people. One bad thing about poly is if we have kids and they come out terrible, or if we get in a horrible, we end terribly and we break up, people are gonna be like, that's what you get. It's because you're a poly. No, we just fucking broke the fuck up like you would in a regular relationship.
Yeah.
Like anybody it's because you're poly now. It's like, it's because of the black guys, because of this. It's like, no, like we're gonna have the same problems, probably less of them though, because the prerequisite to be in a poly relationship is being a little bit more
Self-aware.
advanced in certain areas. Maybe advanced is like a patronizing word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your bases covered a little bit better.
There's a level of
to have-
openness that needs to be.
Yeah. So, but we're still gonna have the same. We can still break up. We can still get in the same type of situations, whatever.
You guys are just normal people dealing with
Truly.
normal emotions.
That's especially what I wanted to say. We had like an interview question today, and they were like, "Oh, can you explain your sex life and stuff?" And me and Pri get so mad because it's like,
I don't
if
think
you
I've
were
ever asked
talking-
that question.
yeah, if you were talking like a regular celebrity couple and there's just two people, you're like, "Oh, talk about your sex life right now."